Hi guys, today I'm going to be doing a tutorial on a no-sew fabric tutu. I am doing this for my daughter for Halloween, so I just try to do videos for projects as they come along. I really don't make projects just to be making them to show. Honestly, I make them when I actually need them. So I'm going to be using my mat. I have my scissors just in case, and I don't even know what this is called, but I got them from Marley. No, I got these from Michael's, as a matter of fact. I have the tool here just in case I decide to use that. I'm not really sure if I'm going to add, and I have purple and I have black because she's going to be a witch for Halloween. So these are the fabrics that I chose, and she's really tiny. She's only 15 months old, so it's easy for me to do these at a very cheap price. So I got these fat quarters at Walmart for 97 cents. So they're this long, and I'm going to fold them the long way. That way I can make sure the length of the tutu, this is how long it'll be. That way I make sure that it covers her. So I'm going to fold them all this way. So I have this one. I have this one. I have this one, and then I have the tool, like I said. And again, I don't know if I'm going to use that yet. I have to see how it's going to look with the fabric, and then I will let you know if I'm going to use that. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to take the black fabric that I showed you first. Oh, and one more thing that we're going to need. I use Freight Check, which I got this. I think I got it on Amazon. But I think you can get it in Walmart also. But I'm going to use this, so for every piece that I cut, I'm going to put this on the edges of it so that it doesn't like unravel. So the first thing I do is I make sure that this is folded in half. And I try to get it as even as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect because it's going on the tutu, and it doesn't have to be, that's the thing about tutus, it doesn't have to be perfect and it'll still look right. So I'm going to lay this. Actually, I want to lay it flat, all the way flat, so we can cut it. And when I'm doing my mat, I'm going to do, because it's hard for me to show you in the camera. So the first thing we're going to do is lay our fabric flat and level it out so that way it goes up against the mat even. So I'm going to cut each piece 2 inches. To help guide me, I use my ruler, and I also got this. I got this one at Hobby Lobby. But I take it and I line it up with my 2 inches, which it actually fits perfect. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I take this and I cut it. I'm going to be very careful with this because, of course, it is very, very sharp.
It does sharp.
And I'm actually going to flip this because, again, I'm left-handed, so it would be easier for me to cut this way. So I'm going to start on this side first. It was easier for me. Okay, so I'm going to take this and line it up. Make sure it's 2 inches. And voila. So I'm going to cut all of these the same way. And again, this is 2 inches. So I'm going to cut them all the same. And this will be folded in half the length of her tutu. So just repeat this process until I have all of my pieces cut.
I'm going to get ready to Mommy. Look. Yeah.
Bless you.
I cover my mouth again.
Good job. Uh-oh. Cut right here. Get little snags out. So just going to keep repeating this process until it's all good. This is actually the longest part of the process, is getting all of these pieces cut and putting the fray check or fray away on it. And you don't have to do the fray away, but I just want to make sure that she can actually wear this tutu, you know, without having to have all the strings pulling at her since she's so little and everything. So just easier for me to not have to deal with that on Halloween. So I'm going to put it on every single piece. Okay, and this will be the last one for this fabric. So we have all of our strips, and again you can see, like, I don't know if you can see that string because of my background, but there's like little pieces of string. So I'm going to cut these pieces off. And then I'm going to put the fray check on them. But I will wait to do that part wait after we've cut out all our fabric to do that. And I'm going to wait to do the fray check too. I'm going to do a little bit at a time because she's so tiny and I don't know how many pieces I'm going to need. So I don't want to do fray check on all the pieces without knowing that I'm going to need them, because there'd be no point in me putting up there if it's going to just go to another project at another time. So next we're going to do the same thing with this fabric and with this fabric, and I will also show you how I cut my tool, because although I don't know if I'm going to use it yet, I'll just show you, that way you can know how to do that as well, or what length to cut it. So I am going to do this one off camera because it's the same exact process. And then after I get them all cut out, then I will come back. Okay, so for this one, for this one, what I ended up doing was leaving it cut and folded in half this way. And I laid it down just to see if it was going to be easier. I laid it down and cut, and it still cut straight through. So that will save you a little bit of time. So instead of leaving it all the way out like we did the first one, I just cut, and it came out perfect.
Don't touch the costume.
Okay, so the last one will be this one, and same thing. I'm going to leave it folded in half since that did save just a little bit of time. And it actually did cut through. I didn't think it was going to cut through, but I guess it is even sharper than I thought it was. So I'm going to make sure that it's even, and do the same thing. Cut it 2 inches. Okay, so now that all of our pieces are cut out, we can begin placing them on. So I have this elastic, and it came in a roll like this. And I got this from Walmart. This is the 1 inch. So it came in a roll like this. So if you're looking for it in the store, this is how it would be. And it had a little blue thing wrapped around it. But mine is 1 inch for her. Which I guess you could use 1 inch for anybody, really. An adult might want a bigger one for a bigger tutu, but I'm going to use that. And the first thing that I'm going to do is take this and put it on each piece. I can't do it. When I made her other one, I did do it when it was up here, and it was just a little bit harder, but so I'm going to take it and do it up here first this time. And this just has like a little thing at the top, and it just comes out. And it seems like a pain. Here, let me see if I can move
Come out
so you can see. Okay, maybe that'll help. But I'm just taking it and putting it on all the edges. So this could be like a little bit of a process. It will help you in the long run, especially if you're selling these, because you don't want to send people a product where it's going to be falling apart. And it doesn't take much. Just pretty much blocking it from being able to unravel. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see this. I'll try to show you, but the dark spots that you see going around are where I put the fray stuff. So once it dries, it should be good to go. And then any little pieces that are like hanging off or anything, you can just, like this little string, you can just snip it. But you shouldn't have that problem of it doing that anymore after that. So we're going to do that same process. And when I'm putting mine on, I like to, when I'm putting it on the elastic, I like to do patterns. You can do it randomly, but I just am a symmetrical person. So I don't know, I feel weird if it's not in a pattern. So I try my best to do a pattern. And if it's not perfect, of course, oh well, nobody's going to really care at the end of the day but me, I guess. But again, that's just the way I like to do it. So I'm going to do a couple more of these on camera so you can see.
Gosh.
And I'm putting it on the inside of the fabric. It dries clear, but I'm still just, I don't know, just have it. Just putting it on the inside of my fabric. So again, here's this one. You can see the dark line. So that's where I put.
You make me fall.
So I'll do one more on camera. And then I will do the rest off. And this doesn't take that long to dry, y'all. It dries within a few minutes.
You're the wrong way. It's supposed to be 140.
And then this one the same way. So I'm going to do the rest of them off camera, as I said. And then when I come back, I will have some of each completed. And I will also, off camera, just go in and snip the little strings. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, the little strings up top. I will go through and just cut all those off too. Alright, so I will be back. Okay, so for this next part, I got pieces with the fray stuff on it. I didn't do all of them yet because, again, I'm not sure how many I'm going to need. So I might have to end up going to go add some more. But the first thing that I do is you don't have to do this, but I do this. I take my pieces and I kind of fold it in on each other just so that way, the only reason why I'm doing this is so that when I get ready to put it up here, I'm not having to deal with such a thick piece. But of course, I still want this to be the 2 inches. So I do that. So I fold it in on itself, and then I take it and I get my elastic and then I put it on top like that with a little loop, because there's going to be a little loop right there. So I take it and then it's laying flat on there, and it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I take it, and where that loop is, I'm going to take and push the ends of this through. So you just pull them through, and then you're going to gently make it tight. Now right now, you can see some of this looks gray because it's the outside of the fabric, and then some of it's black. So all you have to do is just simply just turn it to the right side, and if it comes loose at all, you just pull it back tight again and just keep messing with it until you get it to be on the side that you want it to be on. If you have any pieces fraying, that the pieces sticking out there, then you just cut them off. And the only reason why this is fraying, because when I went back and did my other pieces, I only ended up doing the ends of them because the other parts really weren't fraying at all. So I didn't want to waste all my stuff either. So just wherever you feel like after, you could just go back and just add more if you want to. So this is going to be our first piece. And again, it doesn't have to be even. You can cut it even if you want to at the ends of it. Totally up to you. But I'm just going to leave it like this until I get to the end of it so I can see how I want it to be and where I want to add pieces or anything like that. So, oops, sorry, I couldn't get that piece off. Okay. So this is our first piece. So for our next piece, I think I'm going to do the stripes. So the same thing, I'm going to take it and fold it in, make sure it's in half, as much as in half as it can be. And I'm going to fold this side in on itself. Same thing with this side, fold it in on itself. And then bend them back in half. And we're going to take it and I'm putting it on top of where my hand is. And then I'm going to take it And the same thing, take your end piece, loop it through that hole, and then pull it tight. So same thing. You're gonna pull it tight. And right now I'm not worried about the tightness so much because I want to see how many I'm going to use, and I'm also going to see if I want to add tools. So I don't want to pull it super tight because then I won't be able to like spread it to get the tool in there. So, and with fabric tutus, it's however you want to do it. So if you want it to be super thin, then it can be super thin. If you want it to be really, really thick, then it can also be really, really thick. So it's totally up to you and how you want to do it. So next I'm going to take this one and do the same thing. So again, you're going to take it, fold it in, get it in the middle. I lay it on top with my little loop right here so we can fit the end pieces through. So I take my finger and then I grab with these two fingers, I grab the other part and then I just push and pull it through. And then I hold on to my elastic and I just make it tighter as I'm going. And so there's our third one. So we have our dots, our stripes, and then the little, everything, everything that's going on in that one. So I'm going to continue to do this same thing. And like I said, it looks funky right now, but when we get done, you'll see that it's going to look much better. And once you get going and you figure out how to do your loops, it becomes a lot easier for you. So let me show you how to do the loop one more time because that is usually the trickiest part. So I put mine on top and I leave the little loop. Take my two fingers, take this in this hand, and I just push it and pull it through. So then you have your loop, and then I just pull it tight. So they kind of look like little bow ties once you have them on. So right now, this is what we have. You can already see where it's coming together. I'm just gonna keep going. Right now I have two of each. Yep, two of each one. Or your iPad. Go get your iPad. You can get your iPad. I think it might be in the kitchen.
Ow.
You okay? And by the way, just so you guys know, when you are doing, here, let me show you. Next. Okay, so when you're doing this, I said I keep mine on top of my elastic. You can do the bottom and do the same thing too, and just pull the pieces through. Whichever way you decide to do though, try to stay with that. Try to stay that way. That way all your pieces come out the same. So you're either gonna have your side that looks like the little bow tie, because one will look like the inside, one will look the outside. You can use whatever side you want to. But let me scoot this over so you can see. So you either have this side or you have the back side. So whichever way you decide to do it, just try to stay with that same pattern going both sides. That way when you flip it over, one side is all bow ties and then the other side is the back side. And I think I might have accidentally flipped some of mine, so I might have to go back and fix them myself. I have to look and see. But anyway, this is what we have so far. And some of the pieces are flipped to the other fabric side, but you can still see. Okay, and now I'm going to have to I'm going to have to go do some more pieces because I have run out of the pieces that I need to do my next part. So this is what we have so far, and then I will get my frayaway on, and then we will come back and we will do more. Okay, so before I get started again, I went and cut out the other pieces. I just wanted to say that I figured it out off camera so that way I can tell you for sure. So when you're putting your pieces on, if you take it and you place it on top of your elastic when you're doing it, it's going to pop up with the bow tie side. If you place it under like this and wrap it, then it's going to give you the other side. So I'm going to make sure that I do all of mine on top. It doesn't really matter, but just to make it look better. So see, if you look at mine, you can see they're all on the bow tie side. And if I flip it, not bow tie, I don't know why I keep saying that, tie, like a regular tie. But if you flip it, then it's the other side. So it just makes it look more uniform, really. It doesn't really matter. But like I said, I like for things to look great that I'm doing. So I'm going to do all of mine on top. That way I'll end up with the tie looking side on mine. So I finished cutting all the pieces out. I went ahead and put the fray stuff on all of them because I think I want it to be full, really full. So I probably will end up using all of my pieces. So again, I'm doing the same thing here. I'm just pulling it through. And it looks like a tie.
Oh my god. Done.
So I'm still doing the same thing where I'm like folding it onto itself and then still making sure that it's as even as possible. Because if you don't, then you'll have like some awkward pieces. Which you can just cut, it's no big deal, but and I think I am going to add a little bit of tulle in between. So I'm going to take a break from this real quick. And for my tulle, I just take a piece of one of my strips and I measure. And then I just cut across. Let me lay this out. Then I'm just going to cut it. And again, the tool doesn't have to be perfect. And then, so the tool, of course, I know it's hard to see it in the camera, but from here to here, you can cut it, but I'm not going to because when I fold it, I'm gonna do the same thing. So it's gonna make it look smaller. So I'm just gonna fold it in on itself. So now when I fold it in, it pretty much looks like about my 2 inches that I did for that. So that's how I'm gonna cut out these pieces. I'm gonna do a couple of purple and a couple of black, and then I'm going to go in and just add them. Probably again in a pattern. So I have the polka dot, the stripes, and then the little Halloween witch stuff. So I'm probably going to add a purple one, a purple piece of tulle, and I also have the black. First I'm going to do the purple because I'm not sure if I'm going to use the black yet. But I might just do purple and then black tulle mixed in with this. So I'm going to finish, I'm going to cut out a couple pieces of the tulle, and then I'm going to come back and do the remaining of the fabric. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to do, so we did the 3 fabrics, so I'm going to scoot it down a little bit. And then I'm going to fold it over on itself like we did. Make sure it's even. And this might be a little bit longer than our fabric, so if it is, then I will come back and make it shorter. In the same process, so you just do the same thing. You take it and make your loop. For mine, I'm making sure that it's on top of my elastic, like I said before. And so here we go. I'm going to pull it back together so you can see. So I'm not going to add a lot of tulle because I want it to be mostly a fabric tutu. I just wanted to do this just to give it like a little bit of pizzazz for her. And I don't think I'm going to use the black either. I think I'm just going to do the purple. So I'm just going to go in between each piece. So 1, 2, 3, and add a purple one. And again, you don't have to add the tool. This is just something that I wanted to do, just to make it a little bit different. So the same thing, just take it, make your loop, pull through your loop. Alright, so this is what we have so far. And you can barely even see the purple in the video, which is kind of what I wanted and why I'm not adding the black. But it does make it look fluffier, it makes it look fuller, and I really like how that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up the rest of the fabric and the tool, and then I will come back. see this one upside down, so I'm taking it back out so I can redo it. And by upside down, I mean I went under instead of over for that one. Nope, I almost did it again. And once you start getting used to it, as you can see, you can start moving quicker. Once you get used to making sure you put it on either the bottom or the top to start and doing your loop, then it becomes a lot easier to move quicker. And like I said, you don't have to do a pattern. Some people like random. I just wanted to do a pattern. And the good thing about this is with the fabric tutus or any kind of tutu, if you decide, okay, yeah, I don't like that. Like if I decide later on I don't like the tulle and I want to take it out, you can take it out, no issue, and everything will still be good to go. You don't have to worry about having to take the whole thing apart. You can just take whatever pieces that you want to take out, or you can add pieces that you want to add. It's not going to mess up your tutu. And I'm just doing the same thing. I know it's hard to see because my right hand is in the way, but because I'm left-handed, it's hard for me, and I didn't have another way to place the camera on that side where you guys would be able to see good. But I'm just doing the same process. And I'm still folding it over on itself. I'm still making sure each piece is as even as possible. Still going over the top and doing my loops, pushing and pulling through. I only bought one of each fabric, and of course if you're doing this for a bigger kid, you're going to need more than just a fat quarter, but this is the same. I used fat quarters when I did her outfit for her birthday as well, and she's of course not that much taller since then, so it was easy for me to still be able to use the fat quarters and do this super cheap. So I ended up, each fat quarter was 97 cents, and then the tulle might have been $1. The elastic, I've had it for a while, but it wasn't that expensive either. So I ended up being able to make this tutu for under $5, which is awesome. And then I'm gonna make her a onesie, get her some little boots. I have some leg warmers that are purple and black, so she can look a little witch. I think I'm going to make her a shirt that says "Witches be tripping" or something. I'm not sure yet. Some funny shirt that she can wear. Onesie she can wear. And get her a little witch hat, and that's what she's going to be. So these are my last pieces. I have one left of each fabric. Polka dots. Chevron stripes. Halloween fabric. And you can do as many fabrics as you want to. And you can also include other things like ribbon and things like that. I'll show you the one I did for her birthday so you can see that one as well. Which is the exact same thing, I just use different fabrics. Trying to find my scissors. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I went and measured her, and even though this looks tiny, like I said, of course it stretches. So I'm gonna go ahead and tie it. And so I just did the same thing I did before, just like you would tie anything. Just take it, and I'm gonna try to get this as close together as I can. So I'm gonna tie a knot. So see right here, I've pulled it tight, and then I'm gonna take and tie a knot. That way you can hopefully barely see my elastic, because you're trying to cover that up as much as possible. So I have a little knot right here. So I'm gonna take, hopefully these scissors will work for me. I'm gonna take and I'm gonna cut this piece off, and I'm gonna cut it close, but not like super close, because I don't want to, I want to have room just in case. And then I'm gonna cut and pull it tight again, just to make sure I got my knot in there good. And then I'm gonna cut to this side. Pull it, and then I'm gonna take my fabric, and I'm gonna just tuck one side in, and then pull my knot back tight so I can hide it. And then I'm gonna take my other side and do the same thing, and I'm gonna tuck it in, and then pull it back. If you need to use another piece, you could even take the fabric off and redo that piece to tuck it in. It's totally up to you. Or you can just kind of open up your loop a little bit and then pull it back tight. And however many you feel like you need to do that to cover it. Okay, so another thing that after I get done and after I have it tied together, I make sure my fabric isn't going to come back off. I take it and then I pull it as tight as it can go. So I'm just going back through and just pulling each piece. That way I don't have to worry about it coming loose, because before I just did it tight enough so that way it would stay on. If we needed to switch positions on anything or add more in between, I didn't want it to be too tight. So now I'm taking it and just pulling it. And again, you can still, if you needed to take it back off, it would come back off, but This to me just kind of helps it not come out so easy. Especially if you have a child pull on it or something. So I'm just taking it and really just pulling it. Okay. And I just flatten them out to see. And I'll show you what it looks like. I can hold it this way. So far, this is what we have. I'm not going to go back and add a bow or anything like that to this one. Not as of now anyway. I might change my mind or add like a ribbon or anything like that. So this is pretty much, hope you can see it, what the finished product looks like. It looks super, super small. Again, it's for a 15-month-old and it still is going to stretch even this way. So I'm just going to go back and make sure there's no other edges that I need to cut. My tool, I did cut it down. You see it's the same size now as the rest of the fabric. So I did go back and I cut that. So this is pretty much what our finished product is going to look like. Again, I will take pictures. The tool makes it look crazy in the camera, but it actually does look cute. But I will take pictures that way you can see what it looks like. And you could go back in and you could cut the different designs and all the stuff at the bottom of it. I don't feel like doing all that. She's gonna have this on for 2 hours, so I am not doing all that. So again, this is what it looks like. So I just want to do a quick video so you can see how her tutu came out. And it fits her good. You guys say hi. She's kind of sleepy. I'm trying to get your tutu. I'm trying to take a picture. Let me see. And as you can see, it came out good. So I am going to end up leaving the purple spool in it, and hopefully the rest of it will come together and look great.